What's up, Army? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
I'm pissed off.
I'm caught off guard.
I'm pissed off.
I'm Curtis.
You know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. Vocal J-Hope. What a beautiful voice we saw. Appreciate more.
That's the actual title?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was just your segue.
No. I mean, you know, kind of. But nah, we honestly talked about this. First off, we've never done a J-Hope compilation of anything. That Killin' Verse was kind of the first joint, and this I'm assuming should be more vocal because I think me and you had a conversation before about, you know, why hasn't anyone done like a vocal type, you know, joint for him and stuff. So Redeemers had mentioned this, and I figured, you know, we could jump into it, have a conversation. So yeah, no long talk, jump in.
All right.
What song is this?
Oh, top left. Top left as the title.
Oh, okay.
It was beautiful. Nice choreo too.
Told you, anytime somebody got a rating hat on in K-pop, it's about to be a nasty sighting. Look.
My introduction to vocal Hobie. And my favorite song from BTS. Right in the feels. That song touches my heart instantly. Oh my god. All my favorites.
That red is a good look on him. Oh yeah.
No,
This is still one of my favorite solo joints from him.
they really hitting my five.
Like what?
That was what I was going to bring up for the verses, where I was like, you know, his verse and that. 7 different minds that became one, kind of like, I love that line too. Oh my god. You might have think I would have made this list.
He's like, Kurt.
Or me if I see Pied Piper on here.
These songs were so touching. Such a beautiful song too. Oh my god.
It's funny, they're playing a lot of the Japanese joints.
Crystal Snow, Let Go.
Oh yeah, the best of me.
Tomorrow.
Rain.
금지와 자부심 모든 걸 이겨왔지 꺾인 적 없어 한 번도
DNA.
I don't know where you are.
Good thing is we don't have to worry about somebody popping their head through the side of the joint.
Hey, coffee. If we done this? I don't know why I thought you dropped something. Like, we got him. Hey, Hope World.
Hey.
Hey, hey.
Oh, it shot like the Searchers too.
Yeah, I love the energy on Hope World. Just like the swing your arms energy, like.
It's very house.
The daydream. Daydream. No.
Oh my god.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. I was thinking Run too, but I didn't think of the ballad version.
It's like someone missed everything.
That ballad version was special. I love the original version too, though.
Don't tell me, bye.
Hey, mama. Just talking about, hey, mama.
You gotta have the clap.
Hashtag pressure maker. Hey, mama.
Oh!
Why do you sound like your nuts is in a vice grip?
That's not the way they sing it. She smokes this part so much, too.
Kissing me.
Hey.
We witnessed this. We got to see them go past us.
He waved him in. We didn't get here, did we?
I don't think so. You said, is this a B-side for one of those Too Cool for Schools?
Feels like it. Just there. Slow jam version. I don't think I ever heard it slow down.
This version is this? We seen that on something. Roger. I'm not.
Such a great performance, too.
내게 기대도 돼 언제나 옆에 멍이 들어도 한순간 뿐이더라
Cover.
잡았더라 죽는 것도 아니더라 어색하네 사만의 기타 어색하네
That sound like chop music.
It's just such a performance. I was gonna wonder if they were gonna include any choreo or karaoke things.
언제나 너의 눈 속에 아직은 어린 내 모습 내 모든 걸 원한다면 너에게 줄게 생각 없는 말투 어린 애들 말투
Oh, wow.
싸안아줄
Taeyang cover.
This content.
바라면 뭐해 돌릴 수
See
없는데
how the voice lesson is going.
Just here so I don't get fined.
That'd be great.
You don't have to cry 울지 말아요 노래 불러봐요 이젠 웃어봐요 I will make you smile 행복만 줄게요 언제나 그대 곁에서 영원히 Don't be afraid 이젠 불러줄게요
His reaction was incredible too.
That was quick.
Oh my god.
Daydream.
Oh, that fucking coat fire.
Song fucking fire.
Yeah, this was so well rounded. It was a bit of like melodic stuff in here. It was a lot of kind of just straight like singing.
Straight vocals.
Also, also they showed a lot of stuff that was earlier than I thought. That, you know what I mean, you would have seen stuff. A lot of like, you know, stuff that seemed like it was from the first couple eras.
Where
I guess
you thought it'd been
eras.
like heavy rap centric instead of vocal.
Which is, like I said, why I, you know, keep kind of pushing the narrative of like, you know, Too Cool for School and especially Dark and Wild, that you have Hobie singing a lot, like, you know what I mean, on there. Some of those albums have a lot more vocals on it than people are giving it credit for, and that's kind of just how I feel with like some of the earlier works. Obviously, you know, we're considered a hip hop group first, and we're coming out as a hip hop group, but it's a lot of vocals in there, and I feel like from the looks of this, he must have been an even bigger component than even we knew, because there was some stuff on here that we haven't even had the opportunity to touch yet, and some stuff that we literally
Whose fault
just
is that?
did. Redeemers for not letting us know.
I told you.
I told you 2 years ago. It was like we had other things to do. But all in all, this was decent. This is definitely like a Kurt's top 10.
It's a lot.
Like I feel like 80 of top 10s like are on here, maybe all of them.
Yeah.
But it's I get it.
Right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of Japanese tracks too on here that I've seen, and we've seen that recurrent theme.
One thing I will say, just in regards to that, at least to my perception of things, of course, the fact that, and I'm not saying all the members are or aren't, you know, fluent in Japanese or anything like that, because clearly you probably would have to break it down to get like a specific amount of lines. If it's like, you know, let's just say 4 lines or something like that, and you got to learn those 4 lines. And obviously there's a lot of hard work in that, and I'm sure certain members are, you know, better versed in it than others or whatever. But basically what I mean is you can kind of vocalize and like say 1 word or say 2 to 4 words or something like that. And carry the emotion behind it. I feel like it's a little bit better of a transition than having, let's just say, an 8 bar verse or 16 bar verse to where you really gotta, you know, You got to pronounce everything, correctly. You got to put the emotion behind it. Like there's a lot more intricacies to that. So all that to say that when it seems like we get to a lot of the Japanese tracks is when they're really vocal power showcases of just like, incredible vocals and belting out notes and everything. And obviously like the lyrics are there as well. And I just mean that like it'll be less time on a track dedicated to like full 8s to 16s, it feels like. And it gives an opportunity for a lot more people to kind of have vocal runs because to be able to show yourself as a rapper amidst, Arm and Suge, especially those early times when he was like kind of learning, at least to our perception of it, kind of how to rap and everything and find your own style within that. That's incredible if you're able to do that. But then likewise, on the other side of the spectrum, if you're able to showcase your voice and have these vocal standouts amongst, V, Jimin, and Jin, of course, being able to showcase yourself amongst that as well, and obviously JK being, considered, at least in the early times, like it seemed a lot more like the lead vocalist. So basically just to be able to kind of, carve a little bit of a, like those standout moments for yourself within that, I just think really says a lot as well. And I'm not necessarily like trying to make this segue or anything like that. But it really feels like if he was essentially, he could be like the lead of almost any group, it feels like, in vocals. Like if he was on vocal line for any group, I feel like it would you would know and respect that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like just like, like it doesn't feel like
it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, and the reason I'm bringing that up specifically, all that to tie to this is when you're a member of kind of dance line in any group, for you to be a part of the song, you either have to learn how to sing or how to rap. Generally speaking, at least. For them to include you in as much, material as possible, you have to have something that they can blend. And I just think that his journey and kind of what we've seen, of his vocals and of his rapping ability is just incredible. But I think his vocals are really incredibly slept on as well. So seeing stuff like this is just like, it's always going to hit like a special spot for me.
Yeah, two things. One, I definitely agree with the. This goes back to I think the conversation we was having. I forget what video it was, but how pronunciations of different languages can present opportunities for you to be able to showcase vocal range, for you to go into different kind of cadences and allow. It might unlock some things, like you said. It might let you hone in on if this one particular language, my full sentence is 5 syllables, then I may be able to get off certain vocals or do certain things that this 20 syllables, wouldn't have allowed me to kind of do. And I feel like the Japanese songs, you definitely hear the different dialect, and it helps a lot with them to be able to turn those ballads into like ballads.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, even the fact that you just brought up dialects as well, like, both within clearly, Hangul, Korean, and, certainly Japanese as well.
And then definitely agree with the it's basically like, J-Hope, if we're being honest, could have been put like in an awkward position where it's like, okay, I came on as a dancer, but like you said, in K-pop, dancing is like great. It's kind of 30% of the battle. You kind of got to find your other percentage, and that's
33 and a third.
Yeah, you almost got to find. Well, depending on what else, some people might queue up, because some people might be like visuals and other stuff, whatever. So let's say 30% of it is choreography. You got to kind of fill your cup up with some other things, and if you can't, then it's kind of like it's going to look good when you up front dancing, but now you're not going to be able to be a part of songs.
Well, that's the thing too, because you want to separate yourself from a background dancer to being like in the group and everything, and it's just that is kind of all that to say line distribution and things. And another thing I'm just going to briefly add to that is ultimately as well, it's hard even being part of the choreo, like, I don't want to say just a choreo leader, but anyone who would have to be on the choreo team and essentially make the choreo for a song. And the reason I'm bringing that up in relation to this is because if the track's already laid, we wrote it, we know the vocal runs, we performed it, it's an incredible song. Now you got to take that and basically, okay, I got to work you into the formation here for your part. I got to make sure you're able to not strain yourself enough to where you can, have your proper breath control to either sing this note or to get through that verse. So it's like, again, as you said, it's Hobie kind of being in an awkward position. It's just adding a factor like that, let's say, makes it now there's like 3 incredible, like, things in front of you. And that's certainly not the end of that, kind of battle. But all that to say, it's just I'm imagining the mindset of someone coming into a group and trying to get to learn these things. And I just can't imagine the amount of, pressure that must have been.
Yeah, and then I thought you brought up an interesting point. Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that the working of the arrangement as far as getting somebody out of or in a more comfortable position to hit a note is too difficult because you're either going to be center or they're going to move you off to the side or they're going to try to find a way to work your step out in, kind of like what we see now in Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah. That domino might not be as tricky, but I mean in relation to the sequence of everything.
It's just pretty much just knowing who's going to go next and then just, okay, well, you're here, so I need you to work your way to the front, or I need you to work your way off to the side, or we're going to do a triangle, so I just need you to step out.
Yeah.
It's
also like the storytelling things, though, of like the verse and what you're trying to say.
In some cases there isn't any storytelling. It's just I need you to get out the formation so you can hit the note and then walk back in.
Well, we know how serious BTS takes it, though.
Yeah, but that's not always the case. But and as far as like him being vocally, I think that especially this video early on, seeing, I know this is probably making noise every time I hit it, seeing him do a lot of vocaling early on, where for me, I didn't really think vocally, at least as far as I saw him taking a lot of the leg work until stuff like Jack in the Box. You know what I mean? Where it was kind of just him on his own and him hitting some of the notes that I didn't really think he could hit. And part of that is just me just glossing over and seeing it, but not really digesting it. Like, we've all seen Spring Day. But I've never kind of like, oh, Hobie sound great in Spring Day. It was just like, Spring Day is not really one of my songs. Did you fucking me up?
No, yeah,
okay.
Keep the
So, like, I can give or take Spring Day, so I'm not paying attention to that as maybe something else. Tomorrow, I love that song, but I didn't really it wasn't presented to a point where we could actually see everybody singing line for line for line to know what they did and what they didn't do. Same thing with Pied Piper, to where we could actually sit there and be like, oh, yo, he killed that. Because we could actually visually see him sing it.
That's the interesting thing about kind of breaking these things down to where it's like, oh, wow, like, you hone in on this, or you love this particular part or verse or, vocal run or whatever the case, and then you kind of zero in on very specific things, and you're like, you're seeing more of those kind of elements come into play. I'm
surprised with both of y'all. Well, more surprised with you, especially with some of the earlier singing. Two of your favorite title tracks, before we ever was reacting, he was singing.
What, Save Me?
Make It Right? Even the like, you know what I mean? He literally a walkout sing.
But here's the thing.
Every night.
And Make It Right, one that was still early on, so deciphering voices who was a little difficult. It wasn't until we revisited that I was like, oh, and by then it was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Save Me, I'll cut slight for, because that might be, I'm not going to call it talk rap.
Well, not just that, but remember, it depends on what version, because in the version without Loud, they pick up the slack.
Yeah.
In that first verse, actually V.
Well, no, actually V and Jim's part get clipped.
Yeah.
I think for the first.
I know.
Part.
I think V does. I can't remember. But I know, like, it's not the same.
Yeah, he Loud takes V and Jim's first part, like the first part, but you still get Hobie because Hobie starts off the second verse, I think. So.
But like, if we're watching the video, we don't see that.
No, you wouldn't. And I get what you mean. There's no visual connection to the singing early on. Versus later on when you know them,
especially when you can't really decipher voices early on. Like, I can't tell you. Well, yes, I can. Wait, can I? I was about to say I can't tell you what verse he had in Black Swan, and I love Black Swan, but then I'm like, wait, can I? No, I can't. But like, it's just because like visually, it's not registering right now. But like, there's certain things I do, like Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That registers because you have the visual cues of him with the bow and arrow and those things register. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I like this voice in that. And, maybe a couple other tracks, I like this voice in that, because you have the visual cues to like, okay, that was him, this is him, that's not him. Where, like, or especially early on, when visual cues are really what I was going off of, because I didn't know voices or I wasn't too keen. I told you there were 3 of them that I constantly got mixed up. Hope wasn't one of them though. It was like JKV and Jen. I couldn't tell them apart for whatever reason. Through like the whole first part. I think this is before we even got on air.
It's probably before reactions.
I just couldn't do it. So like even like seeing and hearing them, I just couldn't decipher their voices because I didn't know who was who to like put a name to it.
And that would be all vocal line essentially,
right?
In a lot of regards as well.
And but kind of getting back to Hope, I am always shocked, always surprised, always. I don't want to say proud but like,
It's cool.
Of his willingness to step out from just being rap line and singing that note or hitting that note. Actually, no, it wasn't Hope World. It was the Unplugged, the Fix You. Because I kind of watched that before everybody else. I think that was still COVID time. And I was like, yo, he could actually hit these notes. Like there was a point where he was actually not singing the under, but he was carrying, and somebody was actually backing him up. It was just like, so, and especially here, we talk about it all the time. There's not many rappers. It's very commonplace now, but there are not a whole lot of rappers that were melodic at the time when they were melodic. So I don't want to say BTS paved the way, but no.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I'm not even.
Yeah, respectfully, just because like you can argue LL Cool J was a precursor to it. Drake is 2008 is prior to this.
I always go back to like Don Omar. Always go back to. Like,
I was about to say once you go that route,
El Bambino. You got a Wyson and Yandel. You got a lot of reggaeton artists that's their niche. That's what they do.
You can go 50 and Ja if you want to go there. But no, I definitely, nah, because I definitely get what you mean, and that's not to take away from anything, as far as saying BTS paved the way or anything like that. But melodic rap, and we've had these conversations like off camera, like and on camera and stuff, has been something that's been going on really for a long time, but mainstream. It's cool now. I think before it just kind of wasn't cool, and even when LL did it, you had to kind of sexy talk it a little bit sometimes.
So it was cool when Ja made it cool, but then immediately, and I hate it.
We're not going to talk about that,
right? I don't. But as soon as somebody said it wasn't cool, I guess it ain't cool.
It's even more funny because then 50 was doing it right after.
Right after. That is so filthy. But back to Hope.
I'm with you though. Your point was that shout out to him for not being afraid to take those steps to
step out of the comfort zone. Because essentially, what was his comfort zone? He was a dancer, and kind of what the Kurt was saying.
Yeah, so everything ain't
from
been
being
his
a dancer
zone.
to step out to being a rapper to now being a rapper to now I'm going to sing a little bit to basically being a jack of all trades, master of none. If you know the rest of the saying, then you already know that that's a good thing. So like
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, Jack in the Box of all trades. That'd have been a great album. In fact, that should be the remix album.
It'll be so like.
Right, see, when we become A&Rs over in SK, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but like, no, but see, that's what I get. No, but all in all, I think his courage to go out and step out and then do it confidently, and to not just be confident in it, but you hear the confidence in his voice and you hear the power in his voice, and it's not like shied away or whimpered out, or you know what I mean. It's you know what I mean. He's going out and he's giving you everything. Kind of like we always tease RM, like when it's RM's time to shine, he don't give a fuck how it's
I literally was going to bring that up. I literally was going to bring that up.
But like it's the same way. It's like these guys are fearless. It's like, and it's not a Batman Bane situation where they're so confident and they're so used to winning that victory has defeated them that they're no longer hungry. They're still hungry. They still fight with a man with vigor. They still fight like a younger man.
Really adapted to rap line.
Right, so you know what I mean? Like,
I was to say, he wasn't afraid of the dark when he got in the morning. No, just to briefly add to that, is like even as we had said with the recent album and everything with Jack in the Box, doing more. So it's like, you know, doing more and doing more. But it's like, basically, it's like even within that range where it's like, okay, I'm a little bit more established as a rapper and a little bit more established as a singer, like to where people, you know, who followed our journey know this. Now I'm trying different genres. Now I'm trying, you know, more different languages. So it's like obviously the song More is all encompassing of those things, but it's just like he's like that's something that just seems so embedded in his journey and certainly in BTS's journey that it's just been like, you know, really crazy to kind of, you know, take a moment and appreciate that.
Yeah, I love that about their. I'm sorry. I love that about their group. So one of my favorite step out moments is 2007 Timbaland's album. Can't remember the name of it. The one with like The Way I Are and Bounce and Apologize, where he just, I'm so good at doing hip hop. I'm so
AO Technology? No.
See, now I'm gonna have me look it up. It's not a decent proposal. It's
I want to say AO Technology. That's
no,
the single.
No,
from
but
one
it's
of them,
50's
right?
joint.
That's 50 Signal with Timberland and someone else, I think.
Yeah. Shock Value.
Shock Value. Thank you. That's what was it. Shock
Aptly
Value.
named, by the way. But he pretty much said, I'm leaving all that behind. He did have some hip hop and some rap tracks or whatever on there, but he just opened up the whole fucking cabinet. Like, what was it, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities? He opened up the entire cabinet and gave you the full everything.
The thing with Tim, though, we knew that was in there. He was doing pop shit for
Oh,
people.
no, absolutely. But he never
Yeah,
presented it like that. He never just said, here it is. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you fuck with it. This is what it is. And everybody fucked with it so much that he gave us a part 2. But, like,
it's coming out parties.
Right.
And
but, like,
Hope's coming out
he already
parties.
mastered one lane, and he just kind of was like, well, I'm taking the whole highway.
Yeah.
Everybody in this group can essentially do that. And I love the fact that they're not afraid to just be like, you know what, I'm going to just spread my wings a little bit. And
Also, just to briefly add to that as well, with how many eyes are on you with Army. I mean, of course, Army's been incredible in supporting them, and they certainly know that. And you know, they talk in unison about how much, you know, all that's meant to them. But it's like even just to have that many eyes on you, you know, to where it's like you feel like the spotlight is that much bigger. To have to live up to that, that it just like adds another kind of layer to something like that as well.
Yeah, but I was going to double down. Like, I think that's really the difference between BTS and like a lot of other groups, and especially with J-Hope in particular. They all have strived to be like artists and not just whatever their assigned name tag was when they came in here. So if you came in to be dancer guy, like, you know, you turned into
Came in to be joke guy.
Yeah, you turned into dance god, rap god, and now vocal king. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
and
it's just all encompassing. Like,
and I do agree with you on when rappers jump into like that singing bag, and I can speak with experience from like watching rappers in the booth, like, you know, try to experiment with their voice and do stuff. Some people do not go all the way in, where you can see they're timid or like you'll shy back from hitting certain notes. Some people might be scared to test the vocal range, so they'll like kind of ascend to where they think they can, and like you'll hear like a drop off. RM did it on In the Soup when, you know, they were joking and stuff, and we had a lot of respect for him. Even Hobie on this video went for it, where you just like, oh no, like you're in your upper, I see your neck going off, like you're going for it. Like it's no, you know, you're not running from belting out a high note. And I got a lot of respect for people who want to grow as artists and everything, and just that's why we get all this. We get the rap shit that he was doing earlier, the melodic stuff. Hope World was amazing, and then you get all the darkness with Jack in the Box, and I feel like you really have seen the caterpillars turn into butterflies, ironically, and just, you know what I mean, spread their wings and out here just doing them. But I'm proud of him. I think that's why when you said, I don't know how to word it, I'm proud of him. Like, it ain't kind of no other way to put it and shit, because you're going for it. And it's even more scary because, you know, what is he about to turn, 28? I think he's about to turn 28 years old.
I think so.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. It might be
they will.
29 and shit.
They'll clap you.
But all that being said, 30 years old is nothing in music. Nothing. Some people who like, crack new artist of the year be 35, 40 or something like that and still have music to go do and stuff.
Jay-Z's
So it's
75 and he's still rapping.
Jay-Z and subscribe. Especially with their culture and stuff, because it feels like 30 is just another, like, okay, now I got stories to tell. Shit, RM gave us a whole album about turning 30, basically. So, it's, and even from the stuff that we're watching, like with SM and stuff like that, like with first gen and second gen artists just coming back out to like continue doing stuff. Now you probably got more shit to talk about. So yeah, I feel like great things is coming for Hobie. I'm definitely very proud of him. Watching this was definitely very dope, and I love a lot of the vocals on here. And I'm glad we got stuff that we didn't even see before, because now I'm just encouraged to kind of watch some of the older content and rediscover some of this. Definitely a beautiful voice, and we should appreciate it more.
One thing real quick.
Yeah, both of y'all can jump in.
Army and how it relates to Hope and BTS and the things that they do. They're not complete. Like you said, Army's very supportive. Army's so supportive, it could almost be seen as blind support. Like, I could fart on the track and it'll go platinum.
I ain't gonna go that far, bro.
However, they never take Army for granted. They never take the support for granted. They never sit back on their laurels and be like, it's not my best work, but I know it'll sell.
They've never chased money.
No. I think they always look to, I'm happy with this as an artist. I'm proud of my work. We can move forward with this.
I get what you mean. You're trying to say they're easily in a position to where if they dropped anything, it would be supported. But instead of just getting that support, they actually grew as artists and are actually putting out quality work.
Right.
And people are supporting quality work, even though Army would support, make Super Tuna go viral.
Right.
Which I fuck with the song. But would make something like that be like a number one.
It's like even in a situation like that, it's like they care about like you being happy and you having fun and you expressing yourself and everything like that. Like it's like, so it's, and of course the song, you appreciate the song too, of course, but it's like you're so happy and supportive of the person behind it that you'll still show that love and support. And it's certainly got to be an incredible, an incredible feeling, and certainly must boost like the confidence and the willingness to kind of go and try those things, whether in the booth or whether, at a concert specifically or anything like that.
It is interesting.
But even in that, they don't kind of like rest on it like, I know they'll support me.
Oh, no, exactly.
Like they give you top tier every time.
Yeah. And that's why I said that's interesting, because we've had conversations off cameras about artists who people consider like legends, and we'll just be like, well, their last 5 albums weren't really up to par to the standards that we're used to with them. But
can you name 3 tracks off Michael's last 3 albums?
You said off his last 3? Wasn't Ghost on one of them?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
One of the last ones was Invincible, right?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, when you talking about when he was alive, I'm not anything that they would
No.
Not anything that they would have done post
it was, I can't even tell you the name of his last album.
Yeah. Well, that's also Michael's fault with a lot of stuff. Rest in peace, because he didn't want to accept stuff from Neo.
He didn't want to change.
He wasn't trying to change. And it's funny because he was a changing figure. I'm not even being funny. With no Mike, you might not have K-pop, or it might. Or this is going to be a whole nother thing. And I say it respectfully. We've talked about how JYP has the Michael Jackson room. You said how other people
I think that's accurate. I think it's accurate because think about it. If we don't have Mike, if we don't have Jackson 5, we don't have Jackson 5. We probably don't get New Kids on the Block. We don't get New Kids on the Block. We don't get NSYNC. We don't get Backstreet Boys. We don't get the boy bands.
Somebody in the comments probably gonna argue something else will be filled in there.
That's fine. They can argue.
But that's
you probably don't get New Edition, which means you don't get Boys to Men. You know what I mean? Because if Michael Vincent is famous,
none of that is here. You don't get TLCs. Right. You don't get Salt and Peppers. You don't get In Vogues. You don't.
What you might have is Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. You know what I mean? That's what you might have. You might have a doo-wop group, and that's not the same thing as what we saw here because that's not what the Jackson 5 were. That they transcended a little differently. You know what I mean? So,
but I get you.
Or like Temptations.
Yeah, I get your sentiments and shit because Mike. And it's crazy because a lot of his music is so timeless that you can still play it to this day, and it might sound like shit drop. Half these people doing remixes or using his same cadences on things, and it's still applicable to today. Yeah, some of it don't. But yeah, as an artist, you do definitely need to like kind of grow and do everything. And I do agree that like it's so many fandoms that do blindly support, and sometimes rightfully so when you started with an artist. But I'm glad that BTS are those artists where the quality is always kind of like still there. I'm a big Drake fan and shit, and it's been sometimes where it's like, all right, I get what you were doing with the album, but it didn't like hit for me completely. Now with Her Loss, he just knocked that shit out the fucking park. I'm sorry. But top 5 album. But
some would say it was 21 Savage that really hit it out the park.
Yeah, I mean, you can say my man Washington 21 on like everyone wants to say shout out 21. It's 21 on subscribe. He on Clubhouse talking about me. But nah, I get it because there ain't nothing worse than like seeing your heroes like turn to villains.
Well, sadly, a lot of people have the mindset that you're only as good as your last project, and take that for what it is.
As good as your last game.
How the modern sort of and certainly internet culture and just kind of like toxic behavior in general and stuff like that. But all that to say that what he's been able to do and the support behind him and certainly BTS at large, it's just it encourages artists to be able to unlock that next level of their potential of what they want to do, and they're not necessarily going to pull punches in it. It's almost like again back to the Dark Knight Rises thing, where it's like how did they make the jump? It's like without the safety net. You know what I mean? You when you're tethered and you feel like you have something that's gonna oh, I'm cool. You know what I mean? As opposed to like I feel like I'm fighting for my life, and if I don't put 110% into everything I do, it's not gonna work. And it just feels like it's that kind of mentality that creates that iron sharpening iron aspect.
Yeah, but I'm good. This was dope in my opinion. Anybody else want to jump in and say?
Only thing I was gonna say is just all the tracks on here that they chose were all songs that were like really personal to me from the ones that I have heard. I don't think those are all moments where I think a lot of individuals and certainly the song at large has a lot of standout moments. But it's definitely incredible to because like I said, I mean Spring Day Yes is my favorite song, but it was also the first song where I really noticed that was one of the rappers that was singing like that. And it's back to what Keith had said kind of originally is when you are kind of getting to know the group and you might not necessarily know whose voice is whose or what member has what role within the group, you might just hear an incredible note and be like that singer killed it, and you might not know, oh, he wasn't a singer, he was actually a rapper, he was actually to where like these things kind of have a little bit more depth to them now. So just all that to say, that was one of the songs that really had like that kind of impact for me. And then musically it's just so beautiful, and and certainly all the other songs that they had listed on there, like Born Singer, I think he doesn't often get mentioned in that regard as well. Having that pre-chorus right before Cookie hits that incredible high note. Tomorrow, as you had said, and then certainly Let Go and things of that nature, Crystal Snow. But it's just like tracks like that always have those kind of moments. And yeah, I mean, he certainly, as you had said, deserves to kind of have that light shine on him as well for his vocals as well.
Yeah, man. Shout out Hobie, man. And also,
happy birthday, Hobie.
Yeah, happy birthday, bro. And shout out to Army, man. Y'all be surprised how many artists hate what they do, and they can't change that because the fandoms that they have only cater to one specific lane of music. But Army is so supportive. Well, I am. You know what I mean? You can keep this going.
I seen a new Black Eyed Peas joint. I'm like, oh my god, they would tear this joint to pieces.
Oh my god,
the beat was fire.
Yeah, I want to listen. Like I said, I don't mind, and I love that with Army, where it's that they're very supportive of whatever lane any of BTS takes when it comes to solo work, when it comes to like group work, and that's not like a main thing. Even people, it's a culture now where some people want to be that person where it was like, oh, I fuck with them for their first 4 albums, but like they ass now, or people, or now it's this new Army is
hipsters.
here.
And I had one thing to that too, just in relation to what you were saying, and this isn't like a tangent or anything necessarily, but it's and that was another thing I was going to say with the inclusion of this was the covers that they had done, and certainly the karaoke moments where it's like you're singing songs that might not necessarily be yours inherently or anything like that, but basically whether you're performing them at a show or literally just V Live, just having fun, kind of singing with the fans, singing a few songs, you're kind of getting that chance to kind of test those waters to where people are like, oh wow, like you really crushed that note, or as you had said with Fix You, for example. So it's kind of, I love, and that's certainly something about K-pop in general with, the amount of content that's there, variety shows, things of that sort, that you're kind of able to do a little bit more with that, even if it's playful in nature. But I certainly think it kind of, adds to that effect as well, to where it's like, oh wow, they can really display that they have the capability and the willingness to kind of, try something like this, to where that's now another tool in your arsenal for any kind of future track.
Yeah, and that's just I love it. I love it so much because I just not to run on a tangent. I do, like you said, Keith, love the whole people could blindly just follow something, and as opposed to just sticking to whatever the social norm is, every member in BTS just goes above and beyond to better themselves at anything, and it's not blindly just like singing bullshit in the sense of like, yo, it don't sound good, and fans like, yeah, it's cool. It's like, no, I'm really trying to perfect my voice. I really, want to hit these certain like melodies, and I'm gonna work on it. And I, appreciate y'all for even still being supportive and like, having my back. It's a fair exchange, and
like
we hear RM talk about it.
If they're retired right now, they're the GOATs.
Yeah.
They ain't got to do nothing else. They ain't got to drop another album. They ain't got to improve on shit.
It's too much content, and the content is all like of high quality. And that's why when we had the discussion before about the first 3 or 4 albums not being good production, and I pushed back on that. And I was like, no, I think Lo said it, but I said I think that time
wasn't he in love with the first 3?
Yes,
fuck it. You know what?
No, the time I said, as opposed to the production being bad, I think that, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't think he said it was bad, but the production, I said, is more so outdated. I said you can have outdated production. Anything you listen to in 13 and 14, probably, even if the quality was crazy at the time, the production has changed the music.
This made me think about Jump now, ironically.
Yeah,
as like another one of those,
that's
like,
my shit. Yeah. But yeah, with that being said, I just love the exchange of energy that Army has with BTS. We're kind of just feeding each other like positive vibes and energy.
Just look at how
recharging each other's batteries.
Look at how fruitful that is to music and to artistry in general. When there is that fair exchange and everything,
it works.
Like I just feel like you're able to achieve your absolute peak of like what you want to be and self-actualize because you have the freedom to explore those things.
Yeah, but jump in the comments. Tell us how y'all felt about this. Tell us, if it's anything that we didn't react to on here that they showed that y'all want us to react to, let us know.
Too goddamn
Happy birthday,
bad.
Hope.
Happy
We love
birthday,
y'all.
Hope. Love y'all.
Happy
Take care.